The huge metal doors of the Galactic Council chamber opened with a loud hiss. Inside, 12 different alien species sat around a giant circular table made of blue crystal. The room was so big that it could fit 3 Earth football fields inside. Ambassador Cale Thorne walked into the center of the room. His purple skin shined under the bright lights. His forearms moved as he spoke, and his voice was deep and strong. "Fellow council members," Cale said, "we are here today to talk about a dangerous problem. The humans are spreading too fast across the galaxy. They are taking over new planets every month. They are building weapons and training soldiers. We must stop them before they become too powerful." In the back corner of the room, a lone human sat quietly. His name was Hyenwu Park. He was the only human allowed to watch the council meetings. Hyenwu was young, maybe 30 years old, with black hair and dark eyes. He wore a simple blue uniform with Earth's symbol on his chest. Hyenwu listened. As the alien leaders talked about his people, most of what they said was not true. The humans were not trying to take over the galaxy. They were just looking for new places to live because Earth was getting too crowded. "Look at this," said Commander Xi, pointing at a big screen. The screen showed videos of human soldiers doing training exercises. They practice fighting. Every day they make bigger and bigger weapons. They are preparing for war. The other aliens nodded their heads. They looked scared and angry at the same time. "The humans are violent," said a tall alien with green skin. "On their home planet, they fight wars all the time. They cannot live in peace with anyone." "That is not true," Hyenwu said quietly, but no one heard him. The aliens were too busy talking about how dangerous humans were. Then, something unexpected happened. A very old alien stood up slowly from his chair. His name was Veltar, and he was older than anyone else in the room. He was from a species called the Ashkari. His skin was gray and wrinkled, and his eyes were bright yellow. He had lived for over 800 years. When Veltar stood up, the whole room became quiet. Everyone respected him because he was so old and wise. "I must speak," Veltar said. His voice was quiet but clear. "I have something important to tell you about the humans." Cale looked annoyed. "Elder Veltar, we appreciate your wisdom, but we have already decided what to do. The humans are a threat that must be stopped." "You do not understand," Veltar said, shaking his head. "I have met humans before. My people fought them 40 years ago. It was a mistake, a terrible mistake." The other aliens looked surprised. Most of them had never heard this story before. "Tell us what happened," said a female alien with blue skin and 6 arms. Veltar walked to the center of the room. His old legs moved slowly, but his eyes were bright and alert. "It was a long time ago," he began. "My people found a small human ship near our border. The ship was damaged and needed help, but our military commander was suspicious. He thought the humans were spies. So he attacked their ship." Hyenwu leaned forward in his chair. He had never heard this story either. "The human ship was small," Veltar continued. "Only 20 people were on it. Our ships were much bigger and stronger. We thought it would be easy to destroy them, but we were wrong." "What happened?" asked another alien. "The humans did not surrender," Veltar said. "They did not beg for mercy. They did not try to run away. Instead, they fought back with everything they had. They damaged 3 of our ships before we finally stopped them." "But you won, right?" Cale asked. "We stopped their ship, yes," Veltar said, "but that was not the end." 3 days later, 50 human ships arrived. They came looking for their people. The room was very quiet now. Everyone was listening carefully. "Our commander tried to explain that it was all a mistake," Veltar said. "He said he was sorry. He offered to pay for the damage, but the humans did not care about his apologies." "What did they do?" asked the blue-skinned alien. "They gave us one choice," Veltar said. "Return their people, or they would take them by force." Our commander laughed. He said 50 human ships could not defeat our entire fleet. He was wrong again. Veltar paused and looked around the room. His yellow eyes were sad and tired. "The humans did not just defeat our fleet," he said. "They destroyed it completely. Every single ship. They used tactics we had never seen before. They were smart, fast, and very, very angry." "But surely they accepted surrender when you were beaten?" Cale asked. "That is what I am trying to tell you," Veltar said, his voice getting stronger. "Humans do not accept surrender. They do not give second chances. They do not show mercy to those who attack first." The aliens looked at each other nervously. "Our commander begged them to stop," Veltar continued. "He said his people would never attack humans again. He promised to sign a peace treaty. But the humans just looked at him and said, 'You had your chance to be peaceful. You chose to attack instead. Now you pay the price.'" "What happened to your commander?" asked a small alien with big eyes. "He is still alive," Veltar said, "but he is no longer a commander. The humans made sure of that. They did not kill him, but they made sure he could never lead soldiers again." Hyenwu felt uncomfortable. He did not like hearing about humans being so harsh, but he also knew that his people had good reasons for their actions. "That was one incident," Cale said. "It does not mean all humans are like that." "You are not listening," Veltar said. his voice getting louder. I am trying to warn you. Do not attack the humans. They are not like us. When we fight, we try to win quickly and then make peace. When humans fight, they fight until their enemy cannot fight anymore. Elder Veltar, said another alien, surely you are exaggerating. No species is that ruthless. Veltar shook his head sadly. I have lived for 800 years. I have seen many wars. I have never seen anything like what humans do to their enemies. They study you. They learn your weaknesses. They plan for months or years. And when they finally attack, they do not stop until you are completely defeated. But we are 12 species working together, Kale said. The humans are just one species. We have more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. Numbers do not matter. 2 humans, Veltar said. They will find a way to use your numbers against you. They will turn your allies against each other. They will attack when you least expect it, and they will never, ever give you a second chance. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Kale stood up. Thank you for your advice, Elder Veltar, he said. But we have already made our decision. The human expansion must be stopped. We will send a fleet to their newest colony and demand they stop building new settlements. Veltar looked very sad. Then you are making the same mistake my people made 40 years ago. The meeting is over, Kale announced. As the aliens left the room, Hyenwu stayed in his seat. He was thinking about what Veltar had said. He hoped the old alien was wrong about what would happen next. But deep down, Hyenwu knew that Veltar was probably right. Humans did not give second chances. And if these aliens attacked a human colony, they would learn that lesson the hard way. The chamber was empty now, except for Hyenwu and Veltar. The old alien walked over to where Hyenwu was sitting. I am sorry, Veltar said quietly. I tried to warn them. Hyenwu looked up at him. What should I do? Tell your people to be ready, Veltar said. War is coming, and when it does, please remember that not all of us wanted this to happen. Then Veltar walked away, leaving Hyenwu alone in the giant chamber. Hyenwu pulled out his communication device and began typing a message to Earth. The message was short and simple. They voted for war. Get ready. 3 weeks after the Galactic Council meeting, a huge alien fleet appeared near the human colony called Busan Station. The fleet had 200 warships from 12 different alien species. The ships were big and powerful, with bright lights and scary weapons. Busan Station was a peaceful mining colony built on a small moon. 50,000 humans lived there with their families. They mined rare metals and sent them back to Earth. The colony had beautiful gardens, schools for children, and even a small zoo with animals from Earth. Ji-Hai Kim was working in her laboratory. When the alarm started ringing, she was a scientist who studied alien plants and animals. Ji-Hai was 28 years old with short black hair and kind eyes. She loved her work and had many friends on the station. What is happening? She asked her assistant, a young man named Taemin. I don't know, Taemin said, looking scared. The alarms just started. Maybe it's just a drill, but it was not a drill. In the colony's control center, Administrator Dong-Hook Choi was staring at his computer screen with wide eyes. The screen showed the huge alien fleet getting closer to the station. Get me Captain Nam right now, Dong-Hook said to his assistant. His hands were shaking. Captain Woo-jin Nam was the commander of the small human defense fleet at Busan Station. He only had 5 small ships to protect the colony. His flagship was called the Gwangju, and it was much smaller than the alien warships. Captain, Nam here, Woo-jin said when Dong-Hook called him Captain. We have a big problem, Dong-Hook said. There are 200 alien ships heading toward us. What should we do? Woo-jin felt his heart sink. He knew his 5 small ships could not fight against 200 alien warships, but he had a job to do. I'm going out to meet them, Woo-jin said. Maybe we can talk to them. Be careful, Dong-Hook said. Woo-jin and his 5 ships flew to the alien fleet. When they got close, a voice came over the radio. It was General Crixmore, the alien commander. Human ships, stop where you are, General Crixmore said. His voice was deep and angry. I am General Crixmore of the Galactic Council Fleet. You will surrender immediately. This is Captain Woo-jin Nam of the Human Defense Force, Woo-jin replied. Why are you here? We have not done anything wrong. You humans are spreading across the galaxy too fast. General Crixmore said, the Galactic Council has decided to stop you. All humans must leave this colony within 1 hour. 1 hour, Woo-jin said, shocked. General, we have 50,000 people here. Many of them are children and old people. We need more time to evacuate them safely. You have 1 hour, General Crixmore repeated. After that, we will take your colony by force. Woo-jin knew that 1 hour was not enough time. It would take at least a day to get all the people on the ships safely. He had to try to get more time. General, please, Woo-jin said. Give us 24 hours. We just want to save our families. We will leave peacefully if you give us time. General, Crixmore was quiet for a moment. Then he said, you are trying to trick us. You want time to call for help. The answer is no. 1 hour. Far away, on his observatory ship, Veltar was watching everything happen. He had been tracking the alien fleet since it left the council chambers. When he heard the conversation between Wu Jin and General Crixmore, he felt very worried. Veltar quickly sent a message to General Crixmore. General, this is Elder Veltar. The human captain is not trying to trick you. He really wants to save his people. You should give him the time he asks for. Humans remember everything. If you hurt their innocent people, they will never forgive you. General Crixmore read the message and laughed. The old fool is too soft, he said to his officers. These humans are trying to stall us. We will show them who is in charge. Back on Busan Station, Dong Hook was trying to organize an evacuation, but it was impossible to move 50,000 people in 1 hour. The station only had a few passenger ships, and they were too small. We need more time, Dong Hook said to his staff. Start loading the children and elderly people first. If we have to fight, at least we can save some of them. Jihai was helping families get to the evacuation ships. She saw many scared faces, mothers holding their babies, fathers trying to comfort their children, old people who could barely walk. Don't worry, Jihai told a little girl who was crying. Everything will be okay. But Jihai was not sure if everything would be okay. She could see the alien ships through the station's windows. They looked very big and dangerous. 1 hour passed. The evacuation was not finished. Only about 5,000 people had made it to the ships. 45,000 people were still on the station, human ships. General Crixmore's voice came over the radio. Your time is up. Surrender now. General, please, Captain Wu Jin said. We need more time. We are trying to evacuate our people peacefully. No more time, General Crixmore said. You had your chance. Then something terrible happened. General Crixmore ordered his ships to attack the station's defense platforms. The alien ships began firing their weapons. Bright beams of energy shot across space. Captain Wu Jin and his 5 ships tried to defend the station, but they were too small and too few. The alien weapons were much more powerful. All ships, protect the evacuation transports. Wu Jin ordered his men. Don't let them hurt the civilian ships. The battle was quick and one-sided. The alien ships destroyed the human defense platforms in minutes. Captain Wu Jin's ships tried to fight back, but they were no match for the alien fleet. Then the worst thing happened. One of the alien plasma beams missed its target and hit the main civilian habitat dome. The dome was where most of the families lived. It had apartments, schools, and parks. The plasma beam cut through the dome like a hot knife through butter. The dome exploded in a bright flash of light. 12,000 people died instantly, including Jihai Kim and hundreds of children. Dong Hook watched in horror from the control center. No, he screamed, those were civilians. They were innocent. Captain Wu Jin saw the explosion too. He felt sick to his stomach. 12,000 people, men, women, and children, were dead because the aliens would not give them more time. All remaining ships, evacuate now, Wu Jin ordered. Take as many people as you can. The remaining human ships loaded up with survivors and tried to escape, but General Crixmore's fleet chased them and destroyed most of them. Only a few ships escaped, carrying about 3,000 survivors. Captain Wu Jin's ship, the Guangzhou, was badly damaged. He managed to get away with 500 survivors, but his ship was dying. Sir, his communication officer said, we're receiving a message from Earth Command. They want to know what happened. Wu Jin looked at the ruins of Busan Station. Smoke and fire were everywhere. 47,000 people were dead. Most of them were innocent civilians who just wanted to live in peace. Send this message to Earth, Wu Jin said quietly. Tell them the aliens came to our colony. We asked for time to evacuate our people. They said no. They killed children. The message was sent across space to Earth. When the leaders of Earth received it, they were silent for a long time. General Crixmore was happy with his victory. He had defeated the human colony easily. He thought the humans would be scared now and would stop expanding across the galaxy. But General Crixmore did not understand humans. He did not know that humans had a special way of remembering their dead. He did not know that humans would never forget the names of the 12,000 people who died at Busan Station. And he did not know that humans always kept their promises, especially promises of revenge. On his observatory ship, Veltar watched the burning ruins of Busan Station. He felt very sad and very afraid. He had tried to warn the Galactic Council, but they had not listened. The humans asked for time to save their innocent people, Veltar said to himself. The aliens said no and killed them instead. Now the humans will show the galaxy what happens when you murder their children. Veltar knew that the real war was just beginning, and he knew that the aliens had made a terrible mistake, one that they would regret for the rest of their lives. The message from Captain Wu Jin reached Earth. 6 hours later, when the president of Earth read it, she called an emergency meeting of all military commanders. They killed our children, she said simply. Prepare the fleet. And across human space, the greatest military force in human history began to gather. The aliens had wanted to stop human expansion. Instead, they had started a war that would change the galaxy forever. 6 months after the Busan Station massacre, the largest human fleet ever built was ready for war. 200 warships floated in space near Earth, each one bigger and more powerful than anything humans had ever made before. Admiral So Park stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Terra's Vengeance. She was Captain Wu Jinnam's sister, and she had short black hair and cold, angry eyes. She wore a black uniform with silver stars on her shoulders. "Admiral," her assistant said, "all ships are ready. The fleet is waiting for your orders." So looked at the list of ship names on her computer screen. Every single warship was named after someone who died at Busan Station. There was the Jihai's Memory, the Children's Promise, the Innocent's Revenge, and 197 others. "Send the message to all ships," So-young said. "Today we begin Operation Justice. We will find every alien who participated in the Busan massacre. We will make them pay for what they did." The human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. Their destination was the Vorthen home system, where General Crixmore was celebrating his victory. On his observatory, ship Veltar was frantically trying to contact the Galactic Council. He had been watching the human fleet preparations for months. He knew what was coming, and he was terrified. "Please," Veltar begged the council secretary, "I must speak to the council immediately. The humans are coming, and they are not coming to negotiate." "Elder Veltar," the secretary said, "the council is busy with other matters. They do not have time for your worries about humans." "You don't understand," Veltar said. "I have been watching their fleet. They have built ships designed specifically for war. They have trained for months. They are not coming to make peace." "The council has already decided," the secretary said. "The human problem has been solved. General Crixmore defeated their colony easily. The humans will not dare to attack us now." Veltar ended the call and put his head in his hands. He had tried to warn them, but they would not listen. Now it was too late. 3 days later, the human fleet arrived at the Kepler 442 system, where General Crixmore's ships were stationed. The aliens were not expecting an attack. They thought the humans were too weak and too few to fight back. General Crixmore was having lunch with his officers when the alarm started ringing. An aide rushed into his dining room. "General, we have a problem," the aide said. "Human ships have just appeared in the system. Lots of them." General Crixmore laughed. "How many? 5, 10? We defeated them easily at Busan Station." "Sir," aide said, his voice shaking, "our sensors show 200 human warships. They are much bigger than the ships we fought before." General Crixmore's smile disappeared. He rushed to the bridge of his flagship and looked at the tactical display. His mouth fell open. The human fleet was huge, and their ships looked very dangerous. "Get me the human commander," General Crixmore said. A few minutes later, Commander Taeho Jung of the Dreadnought Jihai's Memory appeared on the main screen. He was a young man with hard eyes and a cold expression. "This is Commander Taeho Jung of the Human Defense Force," he said. "You are General Crixmore, correct?" "I am," General Crixmore said. "Commander, we can negotiate. There is no need for fighting." "You are wrong," Taeho said. 6 months ago, you attacked our colony at Busan Station. You killed 47,000 innocent people. 12,000 of them were children. That was war," General Crixmore said. "These things happen in war. We can make a peace treaty now." "You killed our children," Taeho said again. "We asked for time to save them. You said no. You chose to murder them instead." General Crixmore could see that negotiation was not working. "Commander, I have 300 ships. You only have 200. You cannot win this fight." Taeho smiled, but it was not a nice smile. "General, you are about to learn something important about humans. We do not fight to win quickly. We fight to win completely." "What do you mean?" General Crixmore asked. "We remember their names," Taeho said, "all 47,000 of them. We remember Jihai Kim, the scientist who was helping children evacuate. We remember Minho Park, age 6, who died holding his mother's hand. We remember all of them." General Crixmore felt a cold fear growing in his stomach. "Commander, surely, we can know," Taeho said. "You had your chance to be civilized. You chose to kill children instead. Now you pay the price." The human fleet began its attack. But it was not like any battle the aliens had ever seen before. The humans did not rush in and fight with emotions. They fought with cold, calculated precision. The human ships worked together like a machine. They knew exactly where to hit the alien ships to cause the most damage. They used tactics that the aliens had never seen before. "How are they doing this?" General Crixmore asked his tactical officer. "Sir, they seem to know everything about our ships," the officer said. "They know our weak points, our weapon ranges, our shield frequencies. It's like they have been studying us for years." That was exactly what the humans had been doing. For 6 months, they had analyzed every piece of data from the Busan Station battle. They had learned everything about alien technology, alien tactics, and alien weaknesses. Admiral So-young Park watched the battle from her command center. She was not on the front lines. She was coordinating the entire operation from a safe distance. "Admiral," her intelligence officer said, General Crixmore's flagship is trying to escape. Let him run, So-young said. We are not here to capture him. We are here to destroy his ability to make war. The human fleet systematically destroyed every alien military ship in the system. They did not target civilian vessels or planets. They only attacked military targets. But they destroyed them completely. When the battle was over, General Crixmore had lost his entire fleet. Only his flagship and a few small ships escaped. 300 alien warships were destroyed or captured, but the humans were not finished. Over the next month, human fleets appeared throughout alien space. They did not attack randomly. They had a plan. Every alien commander who had participated in the Busan Station attack was hunted down. The humans had made a list of every ship and every officer involved in the massacre. They went after them one by one. Commander Yulter of the Krelon Empire was having dinner with his family when human ships appeared outside his home planet. The humans did not attack the planet. They simply destroyed all military installations and captured Commander Yulter. Captain Zexai of the Vorthan Navy was leading a patrol when human ships surrounded his squadron. The humans offered his crews a choice: surrender or be destroyed. Most of them surrendered. Admiral Morgan of the Vexian fleet tried to hide in a nebula, but human ships found him anyway. The humans had new sensors that could see through the nebula's interference. Veltar watched all of this happen from his observatory. He saw human fleets appearing and disappearing across the galaxy like ghosts. They struck precisely and then vanished before reinforcements could arrive. They are not conquering, Veltar said to himself, they are hunting. The aliens tried to organize a response. They called for help from other species. They tried to form new alliances. But the humans were always one step ahead. The human intelligence network was perfect. They knew where every alien fleet was located. They knew when reinforcements were coming. They knew everything. Captain Youngji Bei commanded a human stealth ship called the Silent Vengeance. Her job was to gather intelligence and spread propaganda. She was very good at her job. Youngji's ship could sneak into any alien system without being detected. She would hack into their communication networks and broadcast messages from the humans. People of the galaxy, Youngji's broadcasts said, "We are not your enemies. We are only hunting the war criminals who murdered our children. Stay out of our way, and you will not be harmed." The broadcasts always included pictures and names of the people who died at Busan Station. The aliens saw the faces of human children who had been killed. They saw families that had been destroyed. Many alien species began to understand that the humans were not the aggressors. The humans were the victims, seeking justice. General Crixmore tried to rally support from the Galactic Council. He called for a full military response against the humans. "We must stop them," he said. "If we don't, they will destroy us all." But the other species were not so sure. The humans had not attacked any innocent civilians. They had not conquered any planets. They were only targeting military leaders who had participated in the Busan massacre. "Maybe," said one council member, "we should let them finish what they started." "You cannot be serious," General Crixmore said. "You killed their children." Another council member said. "What did you expect them to do?" "Thank you." As the weeks went by, more and more alien leaders began to distance themselves from General Crixmore and his allies. They did not want to be targets of human revenge. The human campaign was working perfectly. They were not just defeating their enemies, they were defeating them politically and morally as well. Admiral So-young Park received daily reports from her fleet commanders. Every report was the same. Another alien commander captured. Another military base destroyed. Another step closer to complete victory. Admiral Harade said, "We have located General Crixmore's hiding place. He is on a space station near the galactic rim." So-young looked at the star map. Jenner? 3 months into the human campaign, President Manesio Yoon of the Earth Federation stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. Her image appeared on the huge holographic display in the council chamber. She was an older woman, with gray hair and tired eyes, but her voice was strong and clear. "Members of the Galactic Council," President Manesio said, "I am speaking to you today about justice. 6 months ago, you sent a fleet to attack our peaceful colony at Busan Station." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Many of them had not supported the attack, but they had stayed silent when it happened. "We asked for time to evacuate our civilians," President Manesio continued. "We asked for 24 hours to save our children and elderly. Your general said no. He chose to murder them instead." Ambassador Cale Thorne tried to interrupt. President Yoon, "Surely we can negotiate." "There is nothing to negotiate," President Manesio said coldly. "You killed our children. We told you we would never forget. We told you we would never forgive. You chose not to listen." The president looked directly at the camera. Her eyes were filled with controlled anger. "Today, I want to show you what happens when civilized people are forced to become warriors. You will learn why humans have survived every disaster, every enemy, every challenge in our history." The holographic display changed. It showed a map of the galaxy with red dots marking every alien military base, every alien fleet, every alien commander who had participated in the Busan attack. "We know where you are," President Menesio said. "We know your names. We know your families. We know your weaknesses. We have been watching you for months." One by one, the red dots on the map began disappearing. Each dot represented a destroyed military facility or a captured alien commander. "This is what humans do," President Menesio said. "We study our enemies. We learn everything about them. We plan carefully, and when we act, we do not stop until the job is finished." The alien representatives watched in horror as the red dots continued to disappear. They realized that the humans were not just fighting a war, they were systematically destroying every trace of the alien military forces that had attacked Busan Station. "You wanted to stop human expansion," President Menesio said. "Instead, you have shown the galaxy what happens when you murder our children. We will not negotiate with child killers. We will not show mercy to those who show none." The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. Meanwhile, Veltar was finally granted an audience with the Galactic Council. He had been asking for months, and now that the human campaign was destroying alien fleets across the galaxy, the council was ready to listen. "I tried to warn you," Veltar said as he stood before the assembled aliens. "I told you not to attack the humans. I told you they were different from us, but you did not listen." "Elder Veltar," said the council chairman, "what do you know about stopping the humans?" "You cannot stop them," Veltar said sadly. "You can only hope they will stop themselves when they have finished their mission." "What mission?" asked Ambassador Kale Thorne. "Justice," Veltar said. "They are not trying to conquer the galaxy. They are hunting down everyone who participated in the massacre of their civilians. When they finish that job, they will stop." "How do you know?" asked another council member. "Because I have studied humans for 40 years, Veltar said. "When my people fought them, we learned something important. Humans do not fight for territory or resources. They fight for principles. They fight for justice. They fight for revenge." Reports continued to come in from across the galaxy. Human fleets were appearing everywhere, but they were not attacking civilian targets. They were only going after military leaders and installations connected to the Busan station. Attack. Captain Yoonji Bae and her stealth ship Silent Vengeance had infiltrated the Vorthan home system. Her mission was to deliver a message directly to the Vorthan people. EUN-G hacked into the planet's main communication network. Every television, every radio, every computer screen on the planet showed the same broadcast. People of Vorthan Yoongi's voice said, "We are not your enemies. We are here to deliver justice for the murder of our children." The broadcast showed pictures of the victims from Busan Station. There were photos of families, children playing, scientists working, teachers helping students. All of them were dead because of General Crixmore's decision. "These are the people your general killed," Yoongi said. "They were not soldiers. They were not threatening anyone. They were just people trying to live their lives in peace." The broadcast continued for 6 hours. Every person on the Vorthan homeworld saw the faces of the human victims. They heard their names. They learned their stories. Many Vorthans began to understand that their military had committed a terrible crime. They started to ask questions about why their leaders had attacked innocent civilians. General Crixmore was hiding on a remote space station called Haven's Rest. He had been there for 2 months, constantly moving from one hiding place to another. He knew the humans were hunting him. "Sir," his aide said, "we have received another offer of asylum from the Zalarian Empire. They are willing to hide you in their territory." "No," General Crixmore said. "The humans found me on 3 different planets. They have spies everywhere. Nowhere is safe." General Crixmore was right. The human intelligence network had grown incredibly sophisticated. They had agents in every alien government, every alien military, every alien organization. The humans were not just fighting with weapons. They were fighting with information, with propaganda, with politics. They were turning the galaxy against the aliens who had participated in the Busan massacre. Admiral So-Young Park received a priority message from Earth Command. The message was simple. "General Crixmore has been located. Finish the mission." So-Young gathered her fleet commanders for a final briefing. They met in the conference room of the Terra's Vengeance. "Ladies and gentlemen," So-Young said, "we have been hunting the war criminals who murdered our people for 4 months. Today, we end the hunt." The fleet commanders looked at the tactical display. Haven's Rest was a small space station in an isolated system. It had minimal defenses and no military significance. "General Crixmore thinks he is safe there," So-Young continued. "He is wrong. We will capture him and bring him to trial." "What about the other aliens on the station?" asked Commander Tae-ho Jung. "They are not our enemies," So-Young said. "We will evacuate them safely before we move against Crixmore." This was important. The humans had been very careful throughout their campaign to avoid harming innocent civilians. They wanted to show the galaxy that they were not the same as the aliens who had attacked Busan Station. 2 days later, the human fleet arrived at Haven's Rest. The space station was small and poorly defended. It had about 10,000 aliens living and working there. Admiral So-Young sent a message to the station administrator. this is Admiral So-Young Park of the Human Defense Force. We are here to capture General Crixmore. All other residents have 6 hours to evacuate safely. The station administrator was confused. Admiral, why are you giving us time to evacuate? We cannot stop you from taking the station. Because we are not like the aliens who attacked our colony, So-Young said. We do not kill innocent people. We only want the war criminal who murdered our children. The evacuation began immediately. The humans provided transport ships to help move the alien civilians to safety. They even provided medical care for those who needed it. General Crixmore watched the evacuation from his hiding place. He could not understand why the humans were being so careful to protect innocent aliens. Sir, his aide said, we should escape with the we can disguise ourselves as civilians. No, General Crixmore said, the humans will find us. They always do. When the evacuation was complete, the human fleet moved closer to the station. Admiral So-Young sent one final message to General Crixmore. General, this is Admiral So-Young Park. You are surrounded. You cannot escape. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to the laws of war. General Crixmore appeared on the communication screen. He looked tired and defeated. His purple skin was pale, and his forearms were shaking. Admiral, he said, I want to negotiate. I can offer you valuable information about alien military capabilities. There is nothing to negotiate. So-Young said, you killed our children. You will face justice for your crimes. I was following orders. General Crixmore said desperately. The Galactic Council voted to attack your colony. I was just a soldier, doing my job. You were the one who chose to fire on civilian targets. So-Young said, you were the one who refused to give us time to evacuate. You were the one who murdered 12,000 innocent people. General Crixmore realized that there was no escape. The humans had found him, and they would not let him go. What happens now? He asked. Now you face the justice. You denied our people, So-Young said. You will be tried for war crimes. You will answer for every life you took. The human Marines boarded the station and captured General Crixmore without a fight. He was taken to a prison ship called Bison's Children, where he would wait for his trial. As the human fleet prepared to leave, Veltar's ship approached. The old alien had been following the human campaign, documenting everything that happened. The war was over, but the lessons were just beginning. The human fleet returned to Earth as heroes, but they carried with them something more important than victory. They carried justice. General Crixmore sat in his cell aboard the prison ship. Bison's Children, the ship was named after the victims of his attack, and every day he was reminded of what he had done. The walls of his cell had pictures of the people who died, families, children, scientists, teachers, workers. Captain Wu Jinnam, who had survived the attack on Bujan Station, was now the commander of the prison ship. He visited General Crixmore every day, not to torture him, but to educate him. Do you see this picture? Wu Jin asked, pointing to a photo of a young girl with pigtails. This is So-Young Park. She was 7 years old. She loved drawing pictures of flowers. She died when you destroyed the habitat dome. General Crixmore looked at the picture. His forehands were shaken. I was just following orders, he said weakly. No, Wu Jin said calmly. You chose to fire on civilian targets. You chose to refuse our request for evacuation time. You chose to murder children. Every day, Wu Jin showed General Crixmore more pictures, more names, more stories. He told him about the baker who made cookies for the children, about the teacher who stayed behind to help students evacuate, about the doctor who died trying to save patients in the medical center. Why are you doing this? General Crixmore asked one day. Because you need to understand what you did, Wu Jin said. You killed real people with real lives. They were not numbers on a battle report. They were human beings. Specialist Dajino was a human psychologist who worked with the alien prisoners. Her job was to help them understand the weight of their actions. She was a kind woman, but her methods were very effective. General Dajin said during one of their sessions, tell me about your family. I have 3 children, General Crixmore said, 2 sons and a daughter. What are their names? Dajin asked. Morgan, Zektar, and little Valana. The general said. His voice became soft when he talked about his children. How old is Valana? Dajin asked. She is 6 years old. General Crixmore said, smiling slightly. Dajin pulled out a photo. It showed a human girl about the same age as Valana. She had dark hair and a bright smile. This is Minji Li, the Jin said. She was 6 years old too. She loved to sing songs and play with her toy spaceship. She wanted to be a pilot when she grew up. General Crixmore looked at the photo. The little girl looked so much like his own daughter. Minji was in the habitat dome when you attacked. Dajin continued. She was holding her mother's hand when the plasma beam hit. They both died instantly. General Crixmore put his head in his hands. For the first time since his capture, he began to cry. Now you understand, Dajin said gently. Every person you killed was someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend. They had hopes and dreams, just like your daughter. Meanwhile, on his observatory ship, Veltar was preparing for the most important meeting of his long life. Admiral Soyoung Park had agreed to meet with him before the human fleet returned to Earth. They met in the conference room of the Terra's Vengeance. Veltar was nervous, but Admiral Soyoung was calm and professional. Elder Veltar Soyoung said, "You tried to warn the council about attacking my people. For that, I am grateful. I failed to stop the attack," Veltar said sadly. 47,000 people died because I could not convince them to listen. "You are not responsible for the actions of others," Soyoung said. "You did what you could. That is all anyone can ask." Veltar looked at the human admiral. She was young, maybe 40 years old, but she had commanded the largest military campaign in galactic history. She had defeated 12 alien species and brought war criminals to justice. Admiral Veltar said, "May I ask you something?" "Of course," Soyoung said. "Why did you spare the innocent aliens? Your people had the power to destroy entire worlds, but you chose not to." Why? Soyoung was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Because we are not like those who attacked us. We do not kill innocent people. We only punish those who deserve punishment." "But surely you were angry," Veltar said. "Surely you wanted revenge against all of us." "I was angry," Soyoung admitted. "Very angry. But anger without justice is just cruelty. We wanted justice, not revenge." Veltar nodded. He was beginning to understand why humans were so different from other species. "What happens now?" Veltar asked. "Now we go home," Soyoung said. "Our mission is complete. The war criminals will face trial. The innocent will be left in peace. And the galaxy has learned an important lesson," Soyoung said. "Humans do not start wars. But when someone forces us to fight, we finish what they started. And we never forget our dead." A few days later, President Minesio Yoon announced the creation of the Busan Accords. It was a new treaty that would protect civilian populations during conflicts. The treaty was named after the colony where so many innocent people had died. The Busan Accords had simple rules: no attacks on civilian targets, no killing of non-combatants, no refusing evacuation requests from families with children. Any species that broke these rules would face justice from the entire galactic community. Surprisingly, most alien species signed the treaty immediately. They had seen what happened to those who attacked human civilians. They did not want to face the same fate. The treaty was signed in a ceremony on Earth. Representatives from over 50 species attended. The document was signed with ink mixed with soil from the Busan Station Memorial Garden. Veltar was given a special role as the treaty's first observer. His job was to watch for violations and report them to the galactic community. He accepted the position with great honor. "I failed to prevent one massacre," Veltar said at the ceremony. "I will not fail to prevent another." The trial of General Crixmore and the other war criminals took place on a neutral space station. The proceedings were broadcast throughout the galaxy. Every species could watch and learn. The evidence was overwhelming. The humans had documented everything. They had recordings of the attack. They had testimonies from survivors. They had the aliens' own communications showing their decision to target civilians. General Crixmore tried to defend himself. "I was following orders," he said. "The Galactic Council voted to attack the humans. The Council voted to stop human expansion," the judge said. "They did not vote to murder children. It was an accident," General Crixmore said. "We did not mean to hit the civilian dome." Captain Wu Jinnam stood up in the courtroom. "General, you refused our request for evacuation time. You chose to attack immediately. You chose to put civilians at risk." The trial lasted 3 months. In the end, General Crixmore and his officers were found guilty of war crimes. They were sentenced to life in prison, with the requirement that they spend 1 hour each day looking at pictures of their victims. The sentence was not death, because humans did not believe in execution, but it was something worse, a lifetime of remembering what they had done. After the trial, Veltar addressed the Galactic Council one final time. He stood in the same chamber where he had tried to warn them about attacking humans. "Members of the Council," Veltar said, "I have one final lesson to share with you about humans." The chamber was silent. Everyone was listening. "Humans are not the most physically strong species in the galaxy," Veltar said. "They are not the most technologically advanced. They are not the largest or the fastest or the most numerous." "Then what makes them so dangerous?" asked a council member. "They remember," Veltar said simply. "They remember their dead. They remember their promises. They remember their enemies. And they never, ever forget." Veltar looked around the chamber. Many of the seats were empty now. The species that had participated in the Busan massacre were no longer welcome in the council. "Humans also remember their friends," Veltar continued. "They remember those who helped them. They remember those who showed them kindness. They remember those who stood up for justice." "What should we do?" asked another council member. "Be their friends," Veltar said. "Respect their laws. Protect their civilians. Honor their dead. Do these things, and humans will be the greatest allies you could ever have." "And if we do not?" asked Ambassador Kale Thorne, who had survived the war but lost his position. "Then you will learn what General Crixmore learned," Veltar said. "Humans do not give second chances. They do not show mercy to those who harm their children. and they never ever forget. The galaxy was forever changed by the Busan Station War. Trade routes were redrawn. Military alliances were reformed. New laws were written to protect civilians. But the most important change was in how alien species viewed humans. They were no longer seen as a primitive, aggressive species. They were seen as a people of justice, honor, and terrible memory. Years later, when young aliens learned about galactic history, they were always told the same lesson. Be kind to humans, protect their children, honor their dead, because humans never forget their friends, and they never forgive their enemies. The war was over. Justice had been served. The galaxy was at peace. And in the Memorial Garden on Earth, 47,000 trees grew tall and strong, each one planted in memory of those who died at Busan Station. The trees would grow for centuries, ensuring that the victims would never be forgotten.